Hey guys, I'm back. So I'm gonna apologize in advance for the audio, apologize in advance for sitting in a library parking lot. But yeah, I need to be posting videos. Happy Pride to everybody who's celebrating Pride Month. Day 1 started at midnight. Hopefully you guys are already having fun. But yeah, I didn't really have a main topic for today. Just chilling. Saturday afternoon. Decided to take a little break at the gym. I'm drinking this little rest of the smoothie. Just chilling outdoors a little bit, trying to get some sun. It's basically all I've done this morning so far. So I wanted to do something a little on the creative end, and in case I go out tonight or something. But for now, I'm just chilling this afternoon. But yeah, I hope everybody's having a good time. I hope everybody's having just fun in general. On a Saturday or whatever day it is that you're viewing this, if you come across this video. But yeah, I just wanted to I was watching something yesterday, well, last night, and it was an interesting video by a YouTuber who was speaking about a haircut that they just got. I don't know how this YouTuber identifies really, but I guess I've heard her say masculine presenting, so I'll go with that. So she's a somewhat masculine presenting female. That I think she usually had pretty short hair from what I recall, but maybe it was like, it's hard to explain. I can't explain haircuts, guys. I have like no I don't have the vocabulary. But basically, I think it was, from what I recall, it seemed like some kind of like undercut almost, maybe. I don't remember if the sides were like faded, and then I think the top was kind of longer, but I think she cut it, like buzzed it maybe pretty short to like maybe about that tall. It wasn't this type of hair. It was like not this type. I don't know what you say, like Caucasian / Asian mixed, like Japanese Asian mixed hair. I mean, hair types, I know they come in all forms and shapes and textures. The race doesn't really matter, but it wasn't this type of hair. It was more of a straighter, thicker black hair. Not black people, but black color. But yeah, I just thought it was an interesting, cool video, because I don't really see a lot of videos like that, by people describing their kind of connection to their hair, their haircuts. I don't know, body hair is a weird thing, man. Like, I don't know, people with shaving legs and shaving under their arms and all sorts of stuff. It's like, I don't know, everybody chooses their own thing. But a lot of people do make choices like about their hair based on just the basic environment, location that they're in, comfort levels and things like that. So that's something I noticed she was really talking about, was like, maybe sometimes people's families are kind of having expectations, or cultural expectations of like, you're female but your hair isn't long, or like you're female but you're not wearing dresses, and the typical. Anyone who considers themselves a tomboy, or I mean, I don't even know, not everybody likes that term either. It's like, I don't know what I think about it. It's kind of like, at least in the US, it's kind of like a term that's like thrown out there, but it's like, it basically just means like you're not a very feminine presenting female. But I don't know, I never understood why the word boy is in it, because it's kind of like, you're not really a boy. Like, you don't necessarily need to or want to be one necessarily. Like, that would be considered something else, I guess, if we're talking about different sorts of gender identities and things like that. But I don't know, like there's a range of tomboy related situations, and even from the terminology itself, it's so complex. Humans are just very complex creatures, and you know, not everybody kind of vibes with the same labels or any labels. Sometimes people don't prefer a label, they're just themselves, you know. I'm Grace or Gracie, whichever one I go by, whichever one people call me. But I mean, I don't mind my name. I love it, actually. I don't love dresses, you know. It's one of those things that, you know, people often want to have, I don't know, have other people wear. I never understood the fascination with someone trying to encourage or strongly encourage / pressure someone who clearly does not naturally gravitate towards, you know, maybe more feminine or culturally feminine related things, and trying to kind of make them wear them or do them or cut their hair or style themselves physically in a certain way to present that way just because they want to see it. Sometimes there's like the discomfort, I guess, from people. I mean, I don't really understand where it comes from, but there's kind of maybe like this discomfort that people have of someone who doesn't kind of fit into a box or a mold of some sort culturally. I mean, it creates a lot of situations where people have to think a lot. And I think in general, some people don't really tend to want to think too much. Our minds kind of generally go towards like, I mean, stereotyping is a strong word, but like, I guess they're called like schemas in the psych realm. Schemas or stereotyping, or, you know, I'm not trying to say that like people are like being prejudiced or anything, but I'm just trying to word it in a way that's like trying to explain that mainly from what I've noticed, from my own perspective anyways, from what I've kind of observed, is that it seems like a lot of times, and not all types of people, not all, you know, it's not like a generational thing, it's like an individual thing, but there are certain people who just would rather not think outside of like, okay, if A then B, you know, like they need things to be pretty linear and pretty like predictable, and none of the like, oh, but what if this and what if that and what if these other scenarios, like these other nodes like connecting to these other areas, are kind of like these other options. I've noticed it can be complicated for people, and I think our minds just naturally do that. I think everybody does this to some extent, just because it's easier, you know. A lot of people, where you live, you shop at the same store. Where you go, you do the same routine, because it's like, it causes less anxiety, less stress, less thinking and trying to like reorganize, you know, ideas and beliefs and things. That's really complex, and people don't tend to want to do that to everything. So there are certain areas where I know people would be more likely to, you know, delve in and try to like challenge themselves and try to like expand more of their thinking, and then there are other areas that people just don't want to. And it's not like specific general areas. I think it's really just like individually, people kind of automatically do this. Like, it's kind of like an automatic process. I don't think people are like really doing this consciously, but I don't even know where I'm going with this. But basically what I was trying to get at is that you know, there is this kind of general understanding of people maybe like needing things to be a certain way because it's easier on them. But I think maybe a lot of times people don't like think like they don't notice that's what they're doing. And I probably do this too to people. Like I've met people that I didn't really know like what their gender was, not necessarily like how they identified or expressed themselves, but what their like biological gender was. Like are they intersex or male or female? Like I wasn't sure. And I mean, I'm used to being around different types of genders, but I mean it depends on the situation, where I would say if it would be something that creates more complications or not. But I'm pretty open-minded. I work in a job in a space where it's like we work with the general public, certain population of the public, more so on the poverty end of the general public. Definitely on the poverty end. Actually, we don't have anyone who's not really in poverty. So basically, I would say that, you know, just talking to people all day, for the most part, I kind of get a lot of insight into my own kind of biases, and I definitely have them, but I do try to actively challenge them, especially when it comes to humankind and other beings, other people and stuff, you know. Like I try not to be too like, let's categorize. That being said, you know, I named this channel and the website Tomboy Official, because it's like, what do people search, you know? Like if you're looking for similar sort of topics, I gotta choose a term that people know, you know. I can't just choose like some random like thing that's like, okay, like it's too vague and it could mean anything, and you know, I want it to target, you know, a certain you know, audience that wants to actually kind of think about these things. But yeah, going back to the haircut, video clip, I really just thought it was a cool video. I thought it was really nice. I thought it was really kind of like insightful, and just an interesting piece to kind of come across on the middle of like a Friday night. It was kind of, I listened to it like the whole time to almost, it ended at almost midnight, and it started at like maybe just before 10 o'clock or so. So it was over like maybe a little bit over 2 hours or something. So I was enjoying it. I was having a good time listening, and I really liked how she mentioned, I mean, I'm not saying I like that she was having some sort of struggle with it, but I'm just meaning that I like that there are a lot of relatable topics, people kind of being comfortable with themselves internally, but then also having to go out into the public or out into the community or out, you know, around family or loved ones, and having to kind of like balance and shift between like, okay, what do I want to do, or what do I want to wear, what do I feel comfortable in, and is this another you know, can I wear this here, can I wear that there, is there going to be a situation where this style is going to backfire or become uncomfortable or stressful in some setting. And sorry, I'm a little bit distracted. There are people walking all over. It's a parking lot, guys. Parking lot on a Saturday afternoon. I'm sitting in my car. The heater doesn't, the AC feels like a heater right now. I'm melting. I was already melting because I was at the gym, but yeah, I should drink some of this. It's actually completely melted by this point. And it's cold, but yeah, it's just kind of interesting that there are all these dynamics that people like who are tomboys, or just that they just don't fit in like your average feminine box, I guess we put it that way. If you can't be put in that box easily, you know, it creates a lot of anxiety for people, and a lot of situations that come up where people are just like having to navigate that, you know, navigate different spaces. Like if it wasn't for other people, I think a lot of this stuff would be easy, but because there are other people involved and their expectations, a lot of times it's like having to kind of deal with other people's expectations, deal with society's expectations, and what happens if a person doesn't follow those expectations. Yeah, I'm no philosopher. I you know, I'm constantly like trying to challenge my own ideas and thoughts and beliefs, and trying to like look at things from multiple perspectives, and I'm not perfect at it, and I don't spend as much time as I could. Like, I do like to just distract myself sometimes and watch YouTube and chill and do whatever else. Like, I don't spend all day like mindful and working on my sense of awareness and things. Sometimes I'm just completely just like, whatever, I want to go to a party or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's just I just, yeah, I didn't have a lot of time to really process the video that I was viewing live last night, because I was watching it, and then shortly after I went to sleep, and then I woke up and like did some errands, went to the gym and all that. And then when I was driving around just listening to music, I'm down in San Diego right now, you guys. I'm between San Diego and LA most of the summers. So right now I'm just chilling here in a parking lot of a place that I know, just hanging out, just having some time by myself all morning for the most part, just kind of doing my own thing. But yeah, I wanted to do some creative stuff, some active stuff, some creative stuff, get through the Saturday doing that, and just relax and rest and chill and think and stuff like that. But then, I mean, later on, I'm probably gonna go out later on, but Saturday night, that's later, that's not right now. Right now I'm doing this. So yeah, that was something I wanted to mention. Oh, it's funny, I didn't even plug this in. So I got these headphones in for no reason. I was trying to use the mic actually because I felt like it would be better, but let's just see how this turns out then. Cause yeah, sorry, I didn't even plug it in, so whatever. I feel like the mic quality is better if I use that kind of earbud mic, I've been told, but now we don't have that, so we're just gonna have to deal with this. I mean, we never had it the whole time. I was never plugged in. I just realized I'm plugged in to power. I have the power cable plugged in, but I didn't have the headphones plugged in, so I hope this is coming out okay. I got the AC on. Again, it's just like, it doesn't work good. This isn't even my car. My car got in an accident. Someone ran into me, backed into me. Yeah, driving in LA, whatever. It's actually my first accident. Like, I've been like a little bit bumped, but that was like, it crushed up the front of my hood and the fender and everything, and not a drivable car, it's leaking, and I'm dealing with insurance and blah blah blah. But basically, I'm borrowing this car from family, and like, it's a blessing to have, but it needs repairs and it doesn't work perfectly, but I'm not gonna repair it because it's not mine. But yeah, anyways, just talking more about how that is when it comes to trying to navigate those different kind of areas. And I know a lot of people are kind of forced almost to feel like they're forced, like they're just kind of forced to kind of like navigate the world differently. So say if there's someone who just fits into a box, they don't have to think about this kind of stuff, it's not something that comes to their mind, like, I'll give you an example. I went to a wedding of my buddy, my trans male buddy, married his wife a couple months back. Maybe it's almost been 2 months now. May? No, April, no, March, sorry, I'm slow. Early March they got married. April, May, so it's like going on 3 months, I can't count. But basically, yeah, early March. So April would be 1 month, May would be 1 month. So we're going on 3 months. Yes, we're going on 3 months that they're going to have been married. And basically, I mean, the whole time I was thinking, I'm like, I mean, it was a theme wedding, which was awesome. I was like, this is cool. And it was just interesting to me that I almost didn't go to this wedding, guys. I was like, fuck, it's a wedding. You know what's expected at weddings, people are supposed to wear certain attire. It's a very gendered sort of environment where, you know, if you've got certain genitalia and look and are a female, you're expected to wear gowns and dresses and whatever you call them, like dresses basically. If you're male, and have that genitalia or whatever you want to call it, like you're basically expected to wear another type of attire. There's not usually like an in-between so much. And I mean, I live in Southern California and it's pretty flexible out here. Like, kind of depends who you know, where you live, where you're at, like what communities and people you're involved with, but you can find things kind of in different ranges of acceptance and kind of like flexibility and like open-mindedness out here. So if you don't have that kind of like space or community that you're involved with, you can find it. But yeah, I was like super like stressed about that whole thing, and it was a great time. I had one of the best times I haven't had in a long time while there. And but yeah, I was just kind of having a hard time with like, okay, I gotta go to a wedding, I don't want to wear a dress. Like, come on, that's not, I you know, first of all, I'd have to buy one. And it's a waste of money because I don't wear them outside of if I have to. And I did wear a dress like a year ago because family asked me to wear one at a wedding of another family members, and I know that they asked me because it was their own stress about the way that I normally dress. They kind of went out of their way. I actually was like, fine, I'm just gonna play by the rules and not argue. This is the previous wedding. I was like, that was last year in 2018, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna play by the rules. I'm just gonna buy this dang dress and spend like $30-40 on something that I was like, I'll actually wear this one, even though I'm gonna not like it, but I'm just gonna wear it and, you know, take one for the team, whatever. Let's not start an argument. Let's not make this harder than it needs to be. Just freaking wear the dress. You know, my family was paying for the ticket. They were paying, they set up the, you know, we went to Georgia, like from Southern California, so basically they paid for the ticket, they arranged where we're sleeping, where we're eating, all that, and I'm like, all I gotta do is buy a dress and hop on the plane when I need to be there, and then hop back on the plane and get myself back home and get to work when I need to go back to work. I was like, let me just take it from that perspective. It's an opportunity to go across the country and like see my family, see another state. I'd never been there before. The weather's messy out there, guys. Like, dude, it was like hailing and raining and lightning and hot and humid and in May. I was like, what is this? I'm used to Southern California where it's just sun and clouds and maybe a little drizzle here and there. But yeah, I really was at the previous wedding. I really, you know, the one in 2018, I was like, fine, I'll wear it. And, you know, someone in my family went out of their way even to buy me a dress in case they didn't think the one that I purchased was like good enough. And I was like, all right, like, this is you being stressed out about your own like ideas of how I look or how I wear clothing and what you think other people are gonna think because it's not appropriate culturally. And I get it. I got a lot of African family. They don't really get the whole thing all the time. But it was interesting that one of my cousins was like, you know, when I came out of the hotel and she's like in the hallway and she's like, oh, I thought maybe you'd wear like a tie, or like, I didn't think you'd wear a dress. Like, and I was kind of like, thank you. Like just her saying that, like, I mean, she wasn't saying, like, everyone was kind of trying to be like complimenting and like, oh, I like your dress and all that. But it's kind of funny because I couldn't care less about how much people liked the dress. Or I had 2 dresses and I wore both of them. And I was like, I can't care less how much people like the dresses. Like, that compliment that she said, that she was just like, oh, I thought that you'd wear something different. That compliment meant more to me than the other compliments that people thought they were giving me. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. That was just interesting to me. I haven't really like tried to figure out why that is, but I was like, that's kind of interesting thinking about it. I'm like, those other compliments, I was kind of like, yeah, I know where they're coming from, and I feel like it was genuine, but at the same time, I'm like, this isn't me. I'm doing it for you guys. I'm doing it for someone else. I'm not comfortable. I don't care how nice this dress looks. I'd rather be wearing my sneakers and some shorts and like whatever, you know, whatever I usually wear. Like, I'm not trying to wear this. But yeah, so fast forward another year to this trans friend's wedding. I was just like, okay, and the reason why I mentioned that they're trans is because there's also other sorts of like gender related and identity related things that come up. So I knew that not everybody going to this wedding, not everyone involved in the wedding or the wedding party or the people getting married themselves, I knew there would be some level of understanding if I didn't wear a dress. I think it's like, okay, maybe people would kind of like be okay with it, you know what I mean? So I wore like chinos and a button down. It was like a black button down short sleeve with like orange little specks, and like the cuffs were kind of up and it's like orange underneath, so it was kind of Halloweenish looking. I had like green chinos, like they were like a pastel dark green, and like some black sneakers. Just wearing my best. But that was basically, I was like, dude, this is me, you know. If you asked me to dress up for a wedding, I'd much rather wear this. You know, I didn't have a tie or anything, but it was a 50s theme, which was really, really sweet, really cool. I really enjoyed that. It was nice. I had a fun time. But yeah, I almost didn't go. I almost skipped out because I was like freaking out that I'm gonna have to wear a freaking dress to this dang wedding. And yeah, I mean, it was a few months ago almost now, and I still am like, ugh. Like, even thinking back, I'm like, like, gosh. But yeah, just stuff like that. Like, I think sometimes people don't recognize, people who aren't having to deal with those things don't recognize what it's like to have to like try to navigate these areas, because it's not easy. And yeah, there are places that literally I won't go, you know. Like, if I know there's like a club that has a specific dress code, I'm like, you guys can go and I'll see if you do something before or after, but I'm not wearing a dress, you know. It's like why would I put myself through that, you know what I mean? But I mean, like, you know, I'm lucky where I live in Southern California. Like, I think there's a lot that I can kind of get away with out here. And it's kind of sad to even say that, like, I'm getting away with it. I know a lot of people don't even have, like, that opportunity or option to get away with or be able to, like, at least somewhat feel like they're able to be themselves or dress the way they want or act the way they want or do things the way they want to or need to for their own comfort. And that causes problems, you know. It causes problems, maybe even to the level of like diseases and disorders and stuff. I mean, like, I'm not very well versed in that, but I was listening to something by Water Magistrate, I think that's his name, on YouTube, about like how people can kind of like heal themselves. There's a process of like choosing to have like an illness or disorder. He wasn't blaming, but it was kind of like how someone can possibly take on an energy, and how there's a process of getting rid of that negative kind of like either disorder or a disease or a sickness or something. I don't hate on people who have like disorders and things or disabilities or anything like that, you know. It's like, I think none of us are perfect and everybody has their own things that they have to deal with. So, you know, as long as they can navigate the way they need to comfortably as possible and they're just living their lives the best they can, not getting in anybody else's way, I don't have a problem with it. But yeah, I'm melting in here, guys, and it's almost been half an hour, but I wanted to put up something longer and just, you know, for Happy Pride Month. I mean, I don't know, tomboys aren't always, you know, I mean, it's just a different expression. Really it is. And so, you know, if you're living that tomboy life, you know, keep it up. Good luck. Pride Month is great. I know it's considered like oftentimes like LGBTQ plus, but even if you're not part of those communities or part of that, you know, if you don't identify in such a way, I feel like it's the time of year in June every year, like at least you kind of see people kind of coming out more of their own like official selves or authentic selves, and you kind of see some of that, like the androgyny and kind of like people kind of like playing with their gender roles or playing with like different sorts of ideas that during the rest of the year, you know, there aren't really a lot of spaces that are open for that. But even if you're not like you know, a non-heterosexual person, I would recommend like checking out some pride related stuff, pride festivals, little pride fairs, little, you know, if you have like block parties and stuff. I don't know what it's like in other parts of the world, but where I am, it's easy to find that kind of stuff, thank God. But it's everywhere. So if you you know, even online, check out YouTubers pride stuff, you know, like there's a lot of information that comes out that it doesn't really have to be a sexual orientation related thing too, because sometimes gender and I mean they're not really related all the time, but sometimes they are. That's a whole nother topic. But like, you know, someone who's on some other part of the spectrum that's not completely masculine or completely feminine, oftentimes you can kind of find stuff during Pride Month, or even just looking up pride related material throughout the year, that you might be able to gravitate more towards it. It might be like, oh, I get this, or this person gets me, you know. So those are kind of good spaces to be kind of like open-minded about, because at least like there is like community around it where people can feel like, okay, finally I can like be in this place and dress how I want and nobody's gonna like say a thing about it. I'm sweating almost profusely at this point, you guys. I'm probably gonna get dehydrated if I sit in here any longer. But I'm gonna get back on the road. I just wanted to pull over, chill, make a video. I should have rolled down the windows, but I don't really like recording videos with people listening to my whole video in the background. So yeah, I just really wanted to talk about that. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you guys have a good night, a good day. I hope this content is useful to somebody out there, because some of us, you know, we're kind of on this wavelength. But yeah, I'll be talking to you guys soon when I have some more ideas to come up with, and some more content to post. Just look out for it. The website's tomboyofficial.com. YouTube Tomboy Official. Check it all out. Stuff's gonna be going up during Pride Month, so please enjoy.